Hi, welcome to Watchbox. My name is Joshua Thanos. This is...
I am Jason Main.
Jason Main, and this is This Week in Watches. Thanks for joining us, guys. This week we have a pretty interesting show. Should be a little bit more organized. This is our third show together, yeah?
Third show. Third time's the best, or?
No.
Third, yeah.
I don't know, but...
We'll try.
We're certainly going to try. Hey, guys, so we have the chat box up and running. We're going to be trying to answer as many of those questions as you have. So let's get started. Jason, wrist check. Go for it, man.
We're going to go right into wrist shots?
Yeah, man. Go for it.
All right, cool. So
let's
move these guys. We don't want to focus on those. So today we have kind of a theme going. So this is the 114060 ceramic sub non-date, also known as the best Submariner that you can buy, in my opinion.
Debatable.
So for the money, I think it's the best bang for the buck from Rolex. Just great everyday watch. So ceramic, like I said, non-date, great movement. It's been accurate as all get out, and I absolutely love it. I wear it almost every day.
And you've had that for what, probably a few months now?
Yeah, it's going on, I think, 4 months now.
That's a great watch,
Yeah.
man. It's your first Rolex, right?
First Rolex.
Dude, yeah,
and,
I think it works for you.
On that note, I think we can segue
right.
directly into your next screenshot there.
Let's get a little quick zoom
Speaking of first Rolexes.
Hey, there you go. So yeah, on the wrist I have the Rolex Yacht Master, the 40mm version. This is a 16622, and here, let me take it off the wrist. Give you a proper introduction. So if you guys have been watching, myself with Tim over the last few months, I was talking about getting myself a new Rolex, and I tried on a few different models. I did the Air King, I did the an Oyster Perpetual. I was thinking about getting what you got there on the wrist, and this week or last week I settled on something nice. So 16622. This is actually what I would, I guess, call the 10-year anniversary of the watch, because the watch came out in 1993. This is a 2003 edition, and yeah, platinum bezel, which has just been discontinued. So you can't buy this watch brand new. Sure. And
I would say it's a fantastic pickup. I know you tried the Milgauss on, you tried the 339, you tried the Air King. I'm glad to see you found something you really wanted, and I wouldn't necessarily use the term settle, because you did quite a bit of research on this before you picked it up. Yeah, and, more research after, honestly. Yeah, and well, that's part of the fun of falling in love with your watch is really knowing what you're wearing. And well, you know how what I did was, so the watch came in, I looked at it, loved it from the beginning. I decided, hey, you know what? I haven't decided on a Rolex yet, and I put it on my wrist and I decided, hey, this might work for me. The deal was right. I bought the watch. Then what I did was, what I hope most of you guys out there do the same thing, is I went home and found as many videos as I could on this watch. Majority of them were by Tim. I think Tim does 3 different videos that include this watch, and I watched them over and over again. Learned that it was the first Rolex sport watch with solid end links. This watch was actually introduced as the luxury version of the Submariner. So they wanted to do some upgrades to the Submariner, but they didn't really want to mess with that. So what they did was they made the bezel with a platinum insert. It's bidirectional. Right, so it's not a hardcore diving watch. Bidirectional, so you can time different things. It has the maxi dial. It's the introduction of the maxi dial. White gold indices, and solid case. This has the old style clasp. I don't know if you guys can see that. That's cool. But I don't know. I'm loving it. I haven't taken it off. I bought it. Well, I guess it'll be a week from now. Last week I wore it at home to Miami, and it certainly fit into Miami. And now I'm smitten with the dang thing. So yeah, maybe we'll do a this or that on this. On the future.
Yeah. All right. But speaking of this or that, let's move on to this or that. We have 2 really nice watches. We normally have the poll. Looks like the website for that poll is not working. So we're just gonna count you guys. Go ahead and vote in the text box. All right. Jason.
Yeah. So
introduce this or that.
So we had 2, basically last week we did sports models, right? We picked stainless steel sports models, essentially under $10,000. And we went on about picking a watch that we thought was kind of cool for that range. So this week what we decided to do were dress watches. So we figured if we were going to do dress watches, then what should we do? Should we do a budget? Should we do your ultimate dress watch? Ultimate dress watch, yeah. So Josh and I were talking about this, and we kind of figured what we would do is pick a watch, a dress watch that if money wasn't really a concern, you were buying something for a boardroom or for, you know, what would it be?
And I wanted to try to get a win because I'm 0 for 2 right now.
Yeah, you're 0 for 2.
I thought I picked the best one, and Jason comes and possibly trumps me.
We'll see. We don't have a poll, so we're just going to assume that I win. But Josh came to me and he had his selection already picked when we came up with this idea, and I was damn, that's probably would have been my choice. But so my choice here, I believe we have a screenshot of this watch.
We're going to show mine first, which is,
okay, you're going to go first.
Let me run you through. Guys, if you can cue up the picture of the first watch from this or that. Boom. All right, so we have the FP Journe. It's the Chronometre Souverain, or also known as the CS. This is the Platinum, right? This is Platinum with the black dial, which is called the Black Label. It's 40 millimeters, 56 hour power reserve, 37.5 retail, which is over, I think, the 34.5 retail if you don't get it with the black dial. It has a specially signed warranty paper, so Mr. Journe himself will actually sign it because this piece is actually application only. So you can't just go walk into the store as a first Journe and order this watch. You have to at least own 1 or 2 beforehand, just like, you know, Patek Philippe has application pieces. This does as well. So yeah, platinum on the leather strap. Normally comes with the tang buckle. You can get the upgrade on the deployant. But yeah, this is my choice for the ultimate dress watch on this or that. And so what do you got, Jason?
So, how could you do any better? 5170p.
Yeah. Let's cue up that picture.
So if we're going to talk about a Patek.
I don't know if that's a dress watch, man. That's a chrono.
Get out of here. 5170p, or the perfect platinum watch.
Yeah.
All right, so all kidding aside, gorgeous dial, right? You have the color gradation dial, blue. Kind of can't really see it in this photo, but trust me, you get a side photo of this watch. It's fantastic, especially when it hits the daylight. You got the really nice sunburst texture. It's got the cool groove sub-dials. Again, when you really get on the dial, beautiful piece. You got the baguette cut diamond markers.
That's the best part
Diamonds
about that watch, honestly.
on a watch, for me, honestly, always a hard pass. But this particular watch, there's just something about platinum and diamond hour markers, especially when they're baguette. 39.4 millimeter, almost the perfect size, in my opinion. If it were 40, it'd probably fit my wrist just right. But 39.4 we can get away with, and it's relatively thin. It's 10.9 millimeters thick, making it a dress watch, contrary to your opinion. And this thing has the awesome, it's the CH235 movement, and it's a 65-hour power reserve.
Look at
so I mean, could you go wrong with that watch? That's gorgeous.
Okay, all right, fair enough. It's good. So you guys can vote in the text box. We got one of my minions back here counting them up. He's going to throw out the winner. I think I'm winning so far, but I think that was before you introduced your watch.
If you have, I mean, 96,000, just a scotch over 96 grand retail. So if you got
it's double the money, man. You could buy 2 of my watch for
that's
one
not
of
what
his.
we're talking about. We're talking about the ultimate dress watch.
Oh,
money
geez,
is of no
it's
concern.
8-1. You're losing, man. I'm going to win this time.
It's okay. It's a long show.
All right, guys. We'll keep voting in there. So yeah, this or that. We're gonna revisit this a few times. We have the Black Label, Platinum Journe, CS, and the 5170p. Both winners. Yeah. If you got the money, I mean, buy both. Exactly. Yeah. There you go. All right, cool. So what do we got next on tap here? So oh yeah. All right. Let's get down to business.
Are we gonna do it?
You want
to talk about this?
You want to introduce it? You can just go for it, Jason.
So kind of the idea we thought of the show might be cool is to kind of touch on. Of course, we have to touch on some of the stuff that came out of Basel, right? But the differentiation in our show is that we always want to kind of talk from a trader's perspective. So not only are we going to touch on some of the stuff that came out, like the watch we're going to talk about next, but also what we think it will do to the market, what you can expect from the watch. Yeah. So without further ado, we'll pull up the first of this piece, which is, I'm sure you guys have already guessed, the Rolex GMT Pepsi.
Exactly. The watch. 15-2, by the way. I'm kicking your butt, man. All right, so there you go. Stainless GMT Master 2 with the new movement on the Jubilee bracelet. That's the new Pepsi, yeah?
First impression, I was surprised that this watch came out. I know a lot of people were surprised this watch came out. Look at it on the full screen there. Gorgeous piece. That Jubilee, something special. Obviously, you know.
Well, it's the same Jubilee that's on the
yeah, but
right?
you see it on that watch. I mean, it's definitely
nice.
Unique.
It's a great throwback.
It's very cool. I can't wait to see it in person, see what the watch really feels like.
It might be some time.
Yeah, it's, well, you know, we run in pretty good circles, so but it will be some time. So we kind of wanted to get into what to expect from this watch, right? Yeah. Josh just alluded to could be some time.
Right.
What do we think as far as impact on market? I know we've had some kind of educated guesses around the office, so I'll leave it to you.
Well, I'd say that, okay, so the rumors are that the allocation on this watch to authorized dealers such as ourselves is going to be something similar to the ceramic Daytona. See what happened with that watch. Obviously, there's an insane amount of demand for the Daytona. I think that one thing that might draw back the demand a little bit on this watch is the Jubilee bracelet, right? Because for the most part, people want Oyster bracelet. I mean, you can see we're both wearing them, right? So that might affect it a little bit, but not enough to really put it down. I mean, you have to assume the watch pre-owned is going to be going over list for quite some time. I want to say how many more than a couple hundred phone calls the first day that people are asking us to put them on the list. Not that there is a list or that there's any type of way to keep track of those types of things, but I mean, the market on this watch is going to be crazy. So a couple things, right? So they released this watch. They also released a two-tone, a rose gold two-tone version, and a solid gold with what you would call, there we go, we have it queued up. We can go full screen with this too. That has the root beer, which, if I'm not mistaken, that's right, you did.
I called that, although
you predicted that.
For the record, I called it on the Jubilee two-tone, which I still think will exist soon.
Yeah, if I had to make a guess, I'd put my money on the fact that they're going to make a two-tone Jubilee and release it on the root beer, which that'll be complete. I mean, that's going to be amazing.
The only, I mean, if it would have been nipple markers,
hey, watch your mouth. It's a family show. Right?
So here's the thing. I will say, coming off of what you see on the primary market drying up on like the stainless steel Rolexes after Christmas, and we're riding a wave with the with the Daytona, with the subs, with the Sky Dwellers. Rolex has never been hotter.
Right.
It's harder and harder to get. So when you had watches like the Sky Dweller and the Daytona release, and they were really hard to get, you didn't have this wave. So that being said, I think the fallout for this Pepsi is going to be catastrophic. I think the biggest downfall with this watch on the market is that you just won't be able to get it.
Yeah.
If I said that I hoped to get a handful, that would be a lie. I mean, I don't think we're going to get more than one or two of these things, and who knows? So the thing is that I just think the catastrophic release of this thing is just going to be, you're talking years and years. It's not even like the Daytona where you might get one in 18 months. I think you're going to be easy 2 years on this guy.
Right, because there's nothing else like it right now. And in fact, I actually have a customer. So last year he bought a Batman from me, the black and blue bezel GMT, and he was on a quest to put it on a Jubilee bracelet. So that's right. Yeah. He ended up, there is some sort of like aftermarket conversion you can get with an old style bracelet and all sorts of. It's very convoluted. He did it on himself.
Yeah.
But so this is the answer to that. What I'd like to see is a hidden clasp version of the Super Jubilee that they have now. Obviously, this one has a sport clasp, so for the Datejust to be a differentiator, I'd love to see a hidden clasp. That would just be unbelievable. I want to just address Daniel Fernandez, who said, I hope they don't talk about the Tudor next. All right, it's coming. Yeah. But, so how does this affect the market? Well, it's to be seen, right? My question is, how does it affect the white gold version? Right, because that always ends up affecting it. We know that the white gold version now only comes in the blue dial. They discontinued the black dial.
Correct.
So there's mixed ideas on these things, right? My first inclination is, dang it, the white gold version is worthless, right? It's not the case right now. It's definitely not the case. I just got word that another dealer offered probably $4,000 more than we've ever paid for a pre-owned white gold version of this Pepsi. The next thing is, how does it affect the Batman, right? And then lastly, how does it affect just the regular black dial version of the GMT? And do they eventually discontinue any of those? Do they discontinue the Batman? Do they discontinue the regular black? I mean, because if you go to the website now, how many versions of the GMT they have? There's a ton.
Yeah.
Right?
I think there's two trains of thoughts on this, like you were saying. I think the first is speculation of the market rising on the black dial, although it hasn't really happened yet on a sales side because it's too new. Holding on to the piece, hoping that it goes up, because it is a discontinued Rolex, right? So discontinued Rolexes traditionally rise.
Right.
It's being pushed out by this blue dial piece. I would argue that the black dial is a handsomer watch, in my opinion.
More handsome, yeah.
I think it's a better looking watch. So for me, the Pepsi bezel pops on that black dial, whereas on the blue dial, kind of
we haven't seen
a little
it in
bit
person.
more subdued. We haven't seen it in person. We probably won't see one for a little while.
No.
The live photos of this watch, the bezel, I would assume the bezel is the same bezel, but it looks a little bit more purple in live photos. It could be lighting.
I think there is a difference from what I've seen. See, we didn't get to go to Basel.
Right.
George and Brian did. You guys probably saw some pictures and things that they posted on social media and whatnot, and you've seen them all over the place. Looks like the bezel, the blue on the bezel for the stainless is a little bit different than on the white gold, so there is a difference. And see, when we were discussing this in the office, someone brought up a good point. Say this watch sells for, in the beginning, around $20,000. Just assume, okay? If that's the case, so if you're going to spend, say, 20 grand on a stainless version, why wouldn't you spend 25 or just, $26,000 for the full white gold version of the watch? It creates a value play for the precious metal version in that regard. So possibly what we might see is once these start shipping, we really see what the market price is for this watch. If it's up there in the $20,000 range, which that's to be seen. Personally, I think it'll be a little bit below that. I'd like to see it in the teens. Let's not have it go completely insane. But if that's the case, then it might create a boom for the white gold, and the blue dial white golds have not shipped yet. So now, obviously, your only option is the black dial white golds.
Yeah, I would. To go back to your further point, I think I'm ready for the black GMT to be discontinued.
The all black, right?
Yeah, I think it's time for the Batman to go as well. I'm going to call it
house.
right there. Let's clean house. It's had its run.
Can we get a Coke?
Let's go out on top. Maybe in 2 years.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. All right. So
that's
we gave you the Pepsi rundown. We have officially nicknamed the next watch in the office. We're going to go ahead and coin the term.
That's right. Go for it.
It is the Diet Pepsi.
There you go. So say you can't get your hands on the Rolex Pepsi for however many years, or you don't want to spend $20,000. You got a Diet Pepsi right here, man. From a good company, obviously ties to Rolex. All right, so a little bit different of a watch. This one is going to be what? 41 millimeters. It's only going to cost you $3,400 Swiss francs. So what is that? $3,700 US, something like that. And it's automatic. It has the rivet bracelet, which you know me, I'm a sucker for the rivet bracelet. What do you think? What are your thoughts on this?
Listen, man, it's a different Black Bay. Traditionally, all different Black Bays sell.
Yeah.
Right. Every time a new Black Bay comes out, it sells. So now we have a GMT complication, first time ever on a Black Bay. Yeah. Right? You have the
GMT had a date.
Yeah, you have the Pepsi bezel, which is super cool and hot right now. Rivet bracelet, I could take it or leave it. Honestly, it's cool. It's not going to sell the watch to me. I'd probably take it off and put it on the strap even if I had the bracelet. I think the watch is cool. It's 41. Black Bays to me, especially after owning this, and I know it's a popular opinion around the office, seem very thick on the wrist.
Yeah,
I'm assuming this should be the same thickness as a regular Black Bay. I'm hoping the GMT complication doesn't change the case back a little bit.
Yeah, that'd be upsetting.
I really want to see this watch in person. It's very exciting for under $4,000 to get a watch that's going to have this type of wrist presence. That being said, I have to see the watch, but it's a winner.
Well, what kind of demand?
Pepsi.
Have you had any requests for this yet?
Yeah, our allocation is way shorter than I'm assuming the line for this thing is. I have maybe 10 or 12 guys that have already asked me for one. So.
I have guys sending me pictures of their credit card saying, here, just take my money. I go, hey, hold on.
Let's slow down a little
bit. Well, I think delivery is going to be sometimes in the summer. I think you mentioned that you saw.
I believe the official announcement, actually saw today on Tudor's Instagram, is June. Expected June shipping.
So it's a summer watch.
Yeah,
summer watch for under $5,000. I think it makes sense. I like the GMT function. That's always a plus for me because it's an added function without crowding the dial, right? Time and date. I think it's a winner. I think it's going to go well. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, we're waiting for the next Pepsi, I guess, right? All right. So now we're done with Rolex and Tudor. Let's move on to the next big announcement.
Here's a watch Josh really wanted to talk about.
All right. So Patek Philippe released 2 new models. That's right. You got a white gold perpetual counter Nautilus. So this watch is interesting. Obviously, right now, any Nautilus is insane. I think this one had roughly over $100,000 retail. So I don't think it's going to be a 5711 boom, but you have to assume the first ones that come out are going to be over retail. It's a new reference, 5740 1G, perpetual calendar with a moon phase, $119,000 retail. Sorry, $119,070 retail. Got to get those last $70.
Don't forget the $70. Yeah,
that's right. That's for the moon phase. 40 millimeters. It's the thickness on this watch, because that always is something that I always have to take into account when we're talking about a Nautilus. So this is an 8.42 millimeter height. It's not that thick. It's thinner than the it's thicker than the 5711, but thinner than the 5980. So I think it's really, the thickness is appealing to me. It's got 60 meter water resistance as well, so you could take it in the pool if you wanted to, but it's white gold. It's also a $120,000 watch. I'd probably say stay away from the water unless you're some sort of tycoon where that money doesn't really matter to you. But yeah, I mean, first initial reaction is, personally, I'm not loving the layout of the dial. Thing is, with these kind of watches, they grow on you, especially a watch like this. So eventually, I think I'll like it. I believe that there's other perpetual calendar dials that they make, or perpetual calendar movements that they make, that would have been better, more appealing. But again, eventually, this is probably going to grow on me. So what are your thoughts on here?
I mean, listen, it's going to sell, right? You know, Patek's not hurting for sales. Personally, I don't care for this piece. When I first saw it, I feel like the dial's a little too cluttered.
Yeah.
You know, it's a little cramped together. Seems a little bit like a kind of a sales play, which the thing I always loved about Patek was they never really had to cater to what other people thought. And I feel like this is like, oh, well, we don't sell perpetual calendars as well as other watches. We don't sell white gold as much as other watches, but we sell blue dials. So let's throw it all into one watch and sell this watch, is the impression I got. And I'm not saying that's, you know, but I could see why someone would like it. It's just, for me particularly, I'm not going to bend to popular opinion. I just don't care for this watch.
It's like, good news is probably out of your price range, and
yeah,
so
I can afford that.
Too,
so. It's not a big deal.
Sell a few things.
Yeah, I can afford the pictures right there.
Yeah, I mean, I would have, not that I have any type of technical knowledge, but if they were able to fit the movement from the 5320, the instantaneous perpetual in this watch, I'm sure it would have been 150 grand at that point. But I would have been a little bit more appealing. The more I look at it though, the more I like it. Just first impression, not as visually appealing to me as some of the other models. But yeah, I mean, it's going to sell. It's going to be limited enough, and there's enough customers right now for Nautiluses that it's going to sell.
I always have this weird thing with the chronograph too close together and having that Mickey Mouse look. That's my thing with the dial clutter.
Right, I guess. Well, yeah, exactly. So, all right. So on to the next release from Patek Philippe, and that's going to be the 5968A. Yep. We got a picture of that. There we go. So this is an Aquanaut, a little bit more reasonably priced, of course, about half the price or less. Aquanaut has become super hot. It's a watch that nobody really paid attention to. You know, a 5167, a 5164 was not watches that were super hot just a couple years ago. But because of what happened with the Nautilus, is people said, oh, well, listen, any sport watch from Patek Philippe is going to be worth something. So, you know, those got hot. This is a watch, $43,770. They got to get that 70. No moon phase here. I guess that's for the sub-second style. Or no, it's a 60. It's
for the extra pushers.
It's a 60 second or 60-minute chrono counter.
Yeah.
So 43,770 US retail, 42 millimeters. So it's an upgrade. It's a larger watch, which I'm not sure how I feel about it. 11.9 millimeter thickness. So I believe this is going to be similar thickness to the 5980, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And 120 meter water resistance. So certainly a dive watch, meant to be one. I have to look into. I wonder if can you use these pushers underwater? I assume not.
I would heavily say no.
It's not a Breitling. You can't do that. Yeah. So your thoughts?
I actually like this watch. I think it's cool. It's a little bit different. It when I first saw this watch, I won't forget. It's the first day at Basel, 7 a.m. I was kind of just scanning everything that was coming out, and the orange counter for the chronograph on this piece, and mixed with the Patek, just the dial, just reminds me of like a 70s Gran Turismo dashboard or something like that. It's just very cool and vintagey looking. I do prefer it on the orange strap. I think it adds a little bit of funk to the watch. I have heard a lot of guys say that they wish the chrono pushers were a little bit shorter, as it kind of extends away from the case and changing the look of the watch.
It's a little lopsided, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess of the two pieces, I'd much rather have this and have the money in the bank for the differential. But
so, you know what it reminds me of? A watch that's probably about half the price too is the Offshore Diver Chrono. And that's, I wonder, listen, we don't know what's going through.
Watch.
Yeah, well, yeah, very, very popular watch. I wonder if with the orange strap and the orange center hand, if they were thinking about Audemars at all. And if that's the case, that means that Audemars is really doing something good. If Patek Philippe is thinking about it. I'm not saying that they are. Listen, Patek Philippe can do whatever the hell they want to do. It's gonna work out for them one way or the other. But yeah, I mean, my thinking is similar to Jason's. Both these watches, first impression, not super visually pleasing. The more I look at them, the more I like them. Sure, if I put it on my wrist, I'd feel like I like it. But 42 millimeters might be too large on this watch. We'll see that. The pumpkin strap, what's going to happen is every guy out there who can get on the list to get this watch will get it, put that on the pumpkin strap, and everyone's going to know what the hell they have. That's what's going to be. It's going to be a flashy watch, right? Because there's not Patek Philippe sport watches are not flashy. So this, I'd say, on the pumpkin strap is going to be the first one.
Just the winner, yeah.
Yeah, so that's something different. I mean, but yeah, the pushers extend a little bit too far. I'm sure there's a technical reason for that, but it does make the case seem a little lopsided in these photos. I haven't seen it on my wrist. Brian and George have. They love the watches. I mean, you know.
Yeah, both of them love Patek. I can't think of a possible technical application for larger pushers, unless the movement was too big and they couldn't fit the pushers in there. Other than that, but
I'm not going to pretend I know.
So let's do we have
on?
anything to move to insight on that? I think we spoke our piece on the Patek.
Yeah,
so
listen, good watches are going to be selling both probably over
sure.
list. Too.
So Rolex done, Patek done.
All right, so let's move on to something that we can both afford and a lot of our viewers can. And honestly, watches that, in my opinion, I love, and they did something special.
This is a watch that I absolutely have to see in person.
All right.
I'm waiting for this watch. So we are talking about the new 300.
There you go.
The wave dial.
Oh, they're bringing back the wave dial, man.
They're bringing it back.
That's so cool. Have you ever owned one of these?
I have never owned an
a
Omega,
Seamaster?
but I have a feeling this will be the first.
Okay.
To be honest,
I'm
excited to see this watch. I really am. I've thought about buying Seamasters before. I could never really get past the bracelet. I know it's very iconic. I know it's their thing, but that double center link bracelet just never really did it for me. So here we have the new Seamaster 300, 42 millimeters, right? So a little bit bigger, a little bit more modern.
That's right. It's beefier.
Yeah,
well, because it's 41. It went from a 41 to a 42.
Yeah, exactly. So everything about this watch
I'm always
is
nervous when they do that, though.
Listen, 42 is great size, right?
We'll see.
So yeah, we have to see it in person. We always come in saying I have to see it on my wrist. So 42 millimeters from 41, and then pretty much everything you could think of on this piece is new. Seeing as how, you know, it's just bringing back this watch. So it's a ceramic bezel, new ceramic bezel with white enamel options, and there's Ceragold if you get the gold.
There you go. Tantalum.
Yeah, so ceramic bezel, and I don't know if you knew this, but the dial is actually ceramic as well.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah,
so it's gray ceramic.
So
well, I mean, so I feel like Omega has mastered colored ceramic at this point, right?
Yeah, so
with every side of the moon.
It's ceramic dial, ceramic bezel, and then one of the coolest things for me about this piece is that the wave is actually laser engraved into the ceramic.
Oh,
so
look at you.
In the past, well, the thing is, you could tell I'm really excited about this watch. This is the watch, even more so than the Tudor, that I really could see myself owning, and I did a little bit more in-depth research because it's for me. As opposed to a YouTube show. So I really like this watch, and I hope that comes across. I think it's going to be comfortable. Unless I put this on my wrist and it's just catastrophically not for me, I can see myself owning this watch. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I think both of us are going to own some variation of this watch. I personally like I like the bracelet, so I like the blue version with the blue bezel and the all steel bracelet. I owned one of these for like a week. Yeah. Ended up trading it, like the original wave dial Seamaster 41. I love the way it fits on the wrist. It actually fits very much like a Rolex. Well, actually, it's almost identical to the Yacht Master, in my opinion. But it's actually a little slimmer, sits a little bit flatter on the wrist. I love the bracelet. I think this is great. If anybody is familiar, this watch, they had made that, in the 90s.
Right.
We bought it a few times. I bought this watch from people who never knew that there was tantalum involved in that bracelet. And it wasn't, like, it will just, in between the gold pieces on the, on the last picture, in between the gold pieces on the bracelet, there you go. Those are pieces of tantalum. So it gives a little bit more heft. It's just a cool watch. And what do we know the price point on it? I didn't even look it up. Did you? It's got to be more than 10,
I don't know
right?
about on the tantalum. On average, all these guys on average are sub 5s.
Right, except for this watch.
Right, except for the tantalum. So the cool thing here, it's got the 8800 master chronometer movement, which with an exhibition case back, it's got a really cool new case back, which unfortunately we don't have a photo of here, but it has kind of scallops around the window. So the 88 movement, really cool, really nice, precise movement. It's anti-magnetic, has the 15,000, just like the Milgauss. So just an everyday workhorse type watch. And then this has, they released it in 14 variations total. So I would have liked to,
style.
Yeah, so my personal favorite version is the one that we had the picture up with the blue, the gray dial with the blue strap. Just like I said, I'm not really into the bracelet for this guy. So that exact watch right there, I'm interested to see.
That's your watch.
But I could have seen them do like 6 models of this.
Yeah.
I don't know about 14. Classic Omega, like let's just make everything we can.
Well, there's new technology. They have to, you know, I'm sure that the way they look at it is that they have to have something for everyone so they can sell enough watches to, you know,
they have
make
to
their
offset
investment back.
the research and development costs, I'm sure.
But I think it's a good watch. I just hope it's not too large. If it's not, I'm buying one for sure. And yeah, I mean, I like it. I really like it. Hey guys, real quick, I'm searching through the chat box. Throw your watch questions, even if it's not related to what we're talking about, because we're going to come back at the end of the show and try to answer a few of those. So please do that. But and let us know how you feel about some of these watches as well. For my money, I buy this watch on a bracelet, then buy the strap and buckle separately, and then swap back and forth. Actually, similar to something I went and bought an aftermarket rubber strap for this watch. I tried it for a little while. It seemed like it worked, so I'm going to be doing that back and forth. You guys might see that on the show. All right, and did Omega do anything else, or I think that's everything?
There are a couple other pieces, nothing really of note to me. Okay. I think the 300 was really the showstopper. I see this watch really just getting them back to bread and butter pieces. This is a watch that'll sell hand over fist.
The Seamaster is the best model they make, right?
I mean, everybody was shocked when it went away, and now it's back, and now you know why it
wave
went away.
dial, baby. It's so nice. It's
so
beautiful.
Cool. Yep.
Absolutely. All right, and let's cue up the second to last picture from our Basel release, and Jason dubbed it the hashtag #MeToo. There you go. So if you didn't have enough two-tone bezels, GMTs, we got the Tag Heuer.
Yeah.
This is what the
so here's
the 01, right?
Right. So here's the thing, right? As we said, I text Josh at 7:10 in the morning, release a Basel, and I said hashtag #MeToo.
Yeah.
So let's take, we're Tag, right? Let's take our best-selling model and copy something else.
Yeah.
Or heavily influenced by something else.
Yeah.
Right? GMT, that's cool. Let's put a GMT on it. Blue and black seems to be pretty popular. Let's do that too. So it just didn't make any sense to me. I don't know. If you like this watch and you're planning on buying one, good on you. Not for me.
I don't know if I'm spending money, but I like the watch. I like the GMT function. I like the skeletonized dial. The BL1 movement's cool. This watch fits really nice on the wrist. Listen, if you're a watch snob, it's probably not for you. It is a little funny that they're jumping on the bandwagon at, you know, the 12th hour.
Just when you thought Tag was like making a new direction turn, you know, that's the thing that bothers me so much. This watch came out and it was like, we're just going to do our own thing and make something new. And then it's a little disheartening to see something like this where it's obviously, you know, heavily influenced by something else that starts with an R.
I mean, listen, I like it. You know, it by itself is a cool watch. The idea that it's, you know, a Batman Chrono GMT is kind of funny. It's not a bad watch. I'm sure we'll see this on somebody's wrist. I bet you they sell a lot of these at like the ports down in the Bahamas. Like that's where this watch gets sold.
It's gonna be easy to get.
Hey, do you guys have the Rolex Batman? No. But I got something else. Yeah. And that's what's gonna happen. Do we know? I didn't look up the retail price of this watch. I assume it's affordable though.
Yeah.
I care. Come on, please. Too mean. All right, and then the last watch, the review, I'm sure I'm going to get a ton of hate, because I always do whenever I talk about this brand. Oh, baby, that thing's nice. All right, so the Hublot Unico Red Magic, this is 45 millimeter. This is polished ceramic, not easy to do. And listen, when we talk about Hublot, we always talk about the materials that they make their watches on. It's in the Unico movement, in-house movement. It's a good watch. Those pushers are butter. If you ever tried a Unico chronograph, this watch is absolutely gorgeous in my opinion. It's gaudy. It's absurd, it's gorgeous, it's hard to make, 72-hour power reserve, and skeletonized dial. What do you think?
I actually like this piece.
Yeah, you do.
You wouldn't think it from me, but you know, I don't mind Hublot so much. There are some that I don't agree with. I really like the classic Aerofusion. I think if I was gonna wear one, that'd be the watch. But this thing,
Aerofusion?
Yeah, and red ceramic. I mean, again, got to see it in person. But
can't be your only watch.
You really. I mean, listen. For
if you drive a red Ferrari, you gotta wear that watch.
Just don't buy it at retail. That's the thing. It just kills me to see them on a secondary, but it is cool. I mean, I've been on here with Tim.
But the Unicos are holding more value every day.
Value. Well, the thing is,
they're getting better.
So here's the thing.
They're shoring up. What do you call it? The distribution on these too, man.
Listen, they're on the right path. I like the watch. It's just for me, the Chrono. I like the Aerofusion.
Fair enough.
But this particular watch in the red ceramic, I think, is pretty cool. And while I certainly wouldn't pay retail for it, I have been on the show with Tim, and we've talked quite extensively about material research, right? Material sciences.
Sure.
And to see something like this that hasn't been done before, similar to the sapphire case that they did of this watch, similar to the blue sapphire, the red sapphire, it's just let's push it as far as we can go. And no brand single-handedly has that material science, let's push it, we don't care as far as we can go, than Hublot.
Yeah, that's. So I mean, they're not concerned with making watches that are gonna are gonna that they're gonna limit production. They don't care about making ceramic Daytonas. They make cool watches for people to wear out. This watch is going to be, first of all, it's going to be hard as hell to damage. It's going to be, you're going to wear it like a Panerai. You can beat the hell out of it. It's ceramic. It's hard, right? And it's a well-made watch. I know the retail on the steel and ceramics $19.9, or the all black ceramics $19.9. I assume this is going to be a little bit more.
Yeah.
So say this is in the low 20s. You can probably get this watch a little bit less than that. And I think it's a hot watch.
It's very cool. The only thing about this piece that
it's an acquired taste, says
all
Bangle
these
Maya.
cases, my major pet peeve is the quick release on the strap, and I know I'll catch flack for that.
We talked about that.
Yeah.
Hey, watch is gone.
Any single, I mean, it's very, very slight. So, some people love it, but in a real-world application, for me, it's a little clumsy.
Well, it's cool technology. Maybe if they made it like on the sides where you push in, or maybe on the underside. But maybe if it touches, who knows? Yeah, but it's a watch that you can take some off someone's wrist very, very easily. People don't believe me until I go ahead and do it.
Yeah, and then on top of that, it's ceramic, so if it comes off the wrist very easily.
Yeah. Again,
lots of little pieces of red ceramic.
As long as you're not around some jerk like me who's going to mess around and try to take your watch off your wrist as a joke, the watch is good. Yeah, I like the watch. I'm sure I'm going to get some hate for it. I'm sure there's a lot of people who think it's terrible. I think it's cool. Maybe not spending my money on it, but as part of a larger collection, weekend watch to wear to Miami or Vegas or out for fun. It's certainly a fun watch. This is not a you don't wear this to a board meeting unless you're Richard Branson or something. Which actually,
unless you're sitting at the head of the board and you just don't care.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, we just thought that was super cool, kind of fun way to wrap up Basel.
So one last thing is from Hublot. One thing I'm excited to see, guys, is the 42 millimeter Unicos. So these are all 45s, which they actually fit kind of nice. But I started as a Panerai guy. I used to like big watches. OJ Watley,
shout out to OJ.
Shout out to OJ. He wears 47 millimeter divers, even though he's got like a wrist smaller than Tim's.
Yeah.
That's not for me. So, I've been trying to scale down. I like really 42, 43 is really the top end. So a 42 millimeter Unico Chrono I think is going to be a great watch. I'm really excited to see those watches.
Yeah, I'm excited to see that too. If nothing more, it kind of just opens the world to guys that can't wear something like this. So
it makes
anytime you extend yourself to a wider audience, it makes sense, right? We're trying to sell a retail product.
Right.
Let's have more retail options.
I think it makes Hublots a little bit more reasonable in terms of size. Like that's the classic fusions. Like you like those, I like those because they're a little bit slimmer, a little bit more subdued. A 42 millimeter Unico is going to be really good. So here, before we go to the next thing, let's talk about last time we were on show. We talked about something that we want to make a regular part of the show. Is that what have we seen come across our desk this week that we really, really like? So these are watches that haven't been posted yet. Maybe they were just paid for yesterday, and let's talk about them. So you go first.
So part of what we thought, Josh just said our segment was going to be, what did we buy this week?
Yeah.
Right. So both of these are watches that we bought from our clients this week. This is pretty cool, I have to say. You don't see this watch often. This is the Roger Dubuis Polschen. So this kind of has, it might be hard to see, it has a sapphire bezel. If you can see there, the whole bezel is sapphire.
Is it part of the crystal?
No.
It's separate?
Yeah. It's kind of hard to see. It kind of looks like bulletproof glass from the side. You see the bolts going in through the bezel?
Yeah, look at that.
So the entire thing is sapphire, solid rose gold. This particular piece has the RD880 movement, which is a Geneve seal, in-house micro rotor automatic, 44 joules, just super cool watch. Again, you don't see many of them. A little bit scratched up, definitely worn, which I have to say I love about this piece because even though it's very high retail and kind of a high ticket item, this guy wore it and it doesn't look bad. It'll get cleaned up a little bit, but excellent watch for the money.
Yeah, what's the retail on that?
I want to say the retail on this is about $68,000.
And what is it? What is it pre-owned roughly? We're going to be
pre-owned probably going to be mid-20s.
Okay, nice. So it's obviously value play. It's a small business. Is it independent, Roger Dubuis?
Yes.
Okay, so small brand, independent, making cool watches. They have partnerships with was it Pirelli, right?
Pirelli, yeah.
Is that a Pirelli?
Lamborghini.
Is
no,
that
it's not. This is.
So they do have some of the watches that come on the Pirelli straps, which
Pirelli,
are really cool.
Lamborghini are the newest things. Obviously some of the older pieces we've had, sold, loved, the Excaliburs. So Josh had a piece there.
Yeah.
And
so let's see if can we get a close-up on that? Let's see when that pops up there. Ah, nice. All right. So if you can't tell, it's a blue dial. All right, that watch is also white gold. It's also 39 millimeters. It's also an Audemars Piguet. So the 39 millimeter Royal Chrono is maybe one of my favorite watches at this point. I don't want to call it a grail watch because that term gets thrown around a lot, but this variation is unbelievable. I've never seen it in person. I actually got this at the show. I was in Vegas at an IWJG show, which we'll cover a little bit later. But this thing's unbelievable. White gold, blue strap, blue dial, 39 millimeter chrono, a discontinued piece. They don't make the 39 millimeter Royal Chronos any longer. And it's closed case back. That'd be the only thing that would be even better is if the watch had an open case back. It's pretty clean. It probably needs to be a little bit more cleaned up. But yeah, that's the coolest thing that came across my desk this week. Not a watch you see very often. I searched online, couldn't find any of them. But yeah, unfortunately, no box, no papers. But I think it's certainly a watch that someone's going to wear, and it is. It's a little bit more wearable than the 41, in my opinion.
Yeah, the 39 is awesome, and this is definitely a AP guy's AP.
Yeah,
it's a watch you don't find.
Getting some love in the chat
it's a watch
there.
you don't find. You stumbled across it at the show, which we're going to talk about in a little bit.
Yeah.
But obviously, when you see something like that, you have to buy it.
Yeah, absolutely. And, it was a great watch. We got it, at a decent value. We're going to sell it. I've already got some interest. I was texting some pictures. If you follow me on social media, the cool stuff that comes across my desk, same with Jason, that gets posted on our Instagram. So if you haven't, you can follow me, Mr. Thanos, and you got some wonky name.
Yeah, it's EVO, so Edward Victor Oscar, X as an Xavier, 4B11.
All right, I'm going to force them to change that.
EVO X 4B11.
Yeah, I want to.
What do you think? Should I change it?
Absolutely. We'll poll.
We should do a poll.
Certainly change that. That's absurd.
Die hard, I guess.
All right, cool. So let's quickly get to the next topic. So last week wasn't on the show with Tim.
Yeah, you disappeared.
Yeah, that's right. I started the week in Miami, enjoyed some sun.
We didn't know where he went, and then when we got a phone call, and turns out he was at a watch show across the country.
Buying bags of watches, right. So I think we got some pictures of some of the cool stuff that I saw there. So there's something called an IWJG, International Watch and Jewelry Guild show, which we belong to. This is a place where dealers come from all across the world to trade watches, right? So a guy in Singapore can buy watches. Maybe they don't sell very well pre-owned there. He brings them to the U.S. and he's going to sell them to U.S. dealers. So you can see some of the things I have here. A 5004. What else do we have here?
You had a pretty cool blue dial version of this watch, I believe.
That's right, yeah. Okay, so there we go. That's where I got this bad boy.
In the wild before it was purchased?
Before the purchase, during the negotiation. We also had...
there you go.
There you go. So that's a platinum.
Very cool.
A platinum blue dial, limited edition, full set box and papers, IWC, big pilot. So that'll be cleaned up and brought to our website. It's actually in really good condition. It had some surface scratches. I don't think it had ever been refinished before. What's the next one we have here? Oh, okay. So there's something funky. Watch that I did not buy, by the way, Jason. Ritmo Mundo with possibly aftermarket diamond bezel.
Those are factory. Those are factory. I've sold that watch new.
Yeah, Jason used to work for Tornell.
I'm sorry to anybody I sold that watch new to. I apologize.
He's going to send you a check, too. And if you haven't noticed, that's on a Panerai rubber accordion strap.
Oh, there you go.
All right,
Let's
and then
mash it up.
Watch I did not buy, by
that
the
watch
way.
flips around.
Another watch I did not buy. Yes, I did know that.
Yeah.
Another watch I did not buy, but I thought was super cool.
That is cool.
This is an early Milgauss. I posted this on my social media. I thought it was absolutely beautiful.
That's cool. That's ownable. Like put that in your watch box.
I think that was like a $30,000 watch also. Which listen, not my price range, but one day I'd like to own that watch. Something about the early Milgauss is just something. It does something for me. It's absolutely beautiful. So you can see some of those are some of the pictures that we got from.
And that's only
the show.
That's only the tip of the iceberg. Right?
I want to say we bought 40 or 50 watches that day, but this is something that we do in this industry. We try to buy as many watches from private collectors as possible because that's how you're going to get the best watches in the best condition. But we have to have new inventory, so we'll go around to these shows and we'll go look for diamonds in the rough. We'll buy things like Audemars, like JLCs, Panerais, IWCs, FP Journe Longa. Not a lot of opportunity on Rolex, unfortunately, because that's a watch that everybody gets.
Very thin market.
Right. So for us, at Godberg, we're an authorized dealer for Rolex, so people can come into our store in Philadelphia and we can sell them Rolex that way, or we can buy Rolex from our collectors directly. But with Rolex, those are kind of tough to buy. Patek Philippe, tough to buy from dealers.
And historically, we do really well with the kind of one-off weird pieces.
Exactly. That's what we want to bring to our customers.
Yeah, so everybody knows or should know that Watchbox came from Watch You Want in origin, and Watch You Want kind of made its name on that. Besides weird Panerai, and the kind of weird one-off type stuff, the stuff that we educated ourselves on enough to know that we could go out and have a clientele for it, where other dealers were like, this is a little too weird for us. So some guys are cool sticking with bread and butter Rolexes. Obviously, we sell a lot of Rolex, but when you really put yourself out there and buy something a little wonky, and you find the right customer for it, and you have the infrastructure that we do, it's pretty good business.
Yeah, so. I think so. But it gives you a little bit look behind the curtain, where we get some of our watches from, and yeah, I mean, we have to supplement our inventory, and this is the way we do it. We're looking high and low for the best pieces to bring to our. Good thing is, with an operation like what we have, the benefit is that we have a full service center, so all these watches are going to be brought up to like new condition using factory parts and things like that. So we can warranty them when they get to our customers.
And that being said, segueing from some of the ways we buy watches, we also buy, sell, and trade with average Joes, right? So you can call us. I'm sure we can queue up Josh and I's phone number there. Call, text, chat, whatever works. We buy, sell, and trade. Our phones are always on. We don't always answer them. We do have to sleep sometimes. But feel free to call. If you don't get me, text me. Hey, my name is so-and-so. We've never spoken before, but this.
Yeah.
Same thing
Please
with Josh.
Please introduce yourself. Hey, man, how much for this watch?
Yeah.
Just give me a name, please.
We're we're normal people. We want to have a conversation, but we want to know who we're talking to as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, please give us a call. Buy, sell, trade all day long.
All right. So we didn't get too many questions today. I keep getting the same question, something we've already covered in the early part of the show. People keep asking, what do we think the new GMT Pepsi is going, or Pepsi GMT from Rolex on the stainless steel version is going to. the new steel Pepsi is going to trade for.
Yeah.
We're speculating it's going to be probably right around 20.
I think it's a 2X watch.
Okay. Well, what's the retail on this watch?
Retail's $94.50, I believe.
Okay, so you think it's going to be?
I think it's an $18,000 watch.
$18,000 watch. Yeah, I'd say that the first couple are going to be over 20. It's going to fluctuate back and forth, and I assume it's going to be something like that too. I'd say that's a good bet. We don't know. We don't have the watch. We haven't sold any, so this is purely just a guess.
Yeah.
But if you want to buy one, if you have 20 grand laying around, it seems like you might be able to pick up one of these watches. Edward Ledden wanted to know what I think about Richard Mille, so let's answer that question real quick, and you can say it as well. I'm starting to come around on Richard Mille. I used to think that it was overpriced. I thought it was like a crappy version of Hublot, really. I'm starting to come around. The watches are super hot. They control distribution actually very well. They don't whore out their watches like some of the other brands. They don't make that many watches. There are extremely high price points, and it's debatable whether or not these watches, from a technical standpoint, are worth that. But people are paying for those, and we see them trading really, really well. So that's how I feel about it. I'm starting to come around on Richard Mille. I'd like to be an authorized dealer for them if you're out there.
I think that they're pretty cool. I kind of think of them the way I think it'd be cool to own, like the way I think it'd be cool to own a Bugatti.
Oh, right? Bugatti, yeah. Not a Bulgari.
No, although we won't get started on the Octo.
You're the Finissimo guy.
That watch is cool. We didn't talk about the steel and gold version. The titanium's still better.
Next time.
Next time. Anyways, but here's the thing. It'd be cool to own, right? I think it'd be awesome. I would have fun with it. I'd take it on the track. I'd wear it on my wrist, whatever. And then eventually, it becomes expensive to own. It becomes a little bit of a hassle. You don't wear it as much. You don't drive it as much. I feel like it's super in your face and look at what I have, and it's flashy for now, but can get a little fad in my opinion. I just don't. It's not a staying power watch. It's more of a look at what I can do type watch. Right. So while I think they're super cool, and we get back into like material sciences with the brand, and I think they do some cool stuff, I don't necessarily think they're worth the money.
Okay, fair enough. That's fine. I mean, I think that they're becoming. Guys like us are watch snobs are going to come around on them, and they're not going away. I think that's the way I look at it. And more independents and we've talked about this in the past. More independents are becoming more popular because some of the core pieces are becoming unattainable. All right, so we've run quite over time. We haven't been looking at our watches. I don't have my tourbillon today to tell me when to end the show.
Yeah, I think it was a pretty well-rounded show. How'd you guys like the pictures? Leave some comments. We tried to put a couple more pictures in this episode. It seemed to be a pretty popular opinion. We covered what we thought was cool from Basel, what we really want to see from Basel, what we didn't think was cool from Basel. But yeah, overall, I think this went pretty well.
Yeah.
Third show.
Yeah.
So,
you can contact us there below. You see my phone number. You can call me first if you have anything good to sell. If you have anything bad to sell that you want too much money for, please call Jason. Also, on a serious note, you can email myself, Jay Thanos, so my first initial last name, at Godberg Jeweler or GodbergWatches.com. Same as Jason. Is it
Jason M? So
Jason M.
JSON for Maine at Godberg Watches.
And email us any questions that you might have for the next show. We're happy, if you guys can help curate this show, that takes less time from us away. Takes more time away from us buying and selling watches, right?
Yeah,
this is our day job. This is our night job or our hobby. So if you can help us curate the show, we're happy to answer some of these questions on air or handle topics that you guys talk about. So, all right, are we done?
Yeah, I think that's it. We'll pull the plug.
All right, cool, man.
Well,
listen,
done.
Thank you guys very much. Remember to subscribe, click subscribe, follow us on Instagram. Also, Godberg Watches on Instagram, Watchbox on Instagram, Watchbox Global on Instagram, and anything else?
Facebook.
Oh yeah, Facebook also, MySpace. That's it. All right, guys. Thank you very much. Have a good night.
See ya.
Cue.